Oh, sorry, you just caught me reading my official The Black Hole magazine, which I've had since I was a kid. Because there's a drawing, some drawings I did inside. I've had this since I was 12 years old. There's my drawings of the robots of the black hole. The state of them. Anyway, so there we go. I don't know how I've kept this all these years. All my other stuff from back when I was young, it's all gone. I don't know where it all went. I think it got thrown out. But somehow this has survived. My black hole magazine. And that's what we're doing. So welcome. Hey, up it's Steve from the Old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to Magnificent Mondays, episode 57, where we're doing The Black Hole. Yeah, from Disney. Although you wouldn't know it. It doesn't say Disney anywhere on the... I think it was on new. If you can get it new on Blu-ray, I think it says, Disney on there, but not on anything else at the time. Anyway, so welcome. Windgrace is here. He said, Black Hole Sun, to which I replied, this was just before we went live. 90s rock. 90s rock, 'cause I'm not a big fan of 90s rock, because it killed 80s rock. and I forgot who did Black Hole Sun. It's on tip of me tongue. It's not a bad song, I must admit, it's not a bad song. Because Windgrace says, do you also dislike his Bond theme song? Was that Chris Cornell? I think it was, wasn't it? Which is cool, Casino Royale. Is it? Is that one? Anyway, anywho, and Josh Temple's here. Yeah, never fear. Maddie's here. Harpoon at the ready. We're going to need it to spear some robots and stuff. Is it on Disney Plus? Yes, it is, because I've just watched it on Disney Plus. I didn't watch. I thought I'll not watch my DVD because I've not got it on Blu-ray. So I thought I'll not watch my DVD. I'll watch it in. I think it's in 4K on Disney Plus. And jolly good it was too. Right, so The Black Hole from 1979, the first Disney PG-rated movie. I think the hang on, I've got notes. I think the 100 and something. Hang on, I've got it written down here somewhere. The 103rd live-action film from Disney. Don't ask me what the first 102 were. Directed by Gary Nelson. I think it was most famous credit before this was Freaky Friday with Jodie Foster from 1976. Written by Jerry Day and Jeb Rosebrook. Produced by Ron Miller, who would go on to be the boss of Disney. Stars Maximilian Schell, Robert Forster, Joseph Bottoms, Yvette Mimieux, Anthony Perkins, Ernest Borgnine, and voices of, though weirdly uncredited, the voices of Roddy McDowall and Slim Pickens. An amazing musical score from John Barry. Really, I don't know what it's called, a luscious, sumptuous score from John Barry. But they always are, aren't they? They always are from John Barry. It was reminiscent of his Moonraker score, which came out the same year, so he probably was the same mindset. Maybe that's why they're similar. But anyway, at a budget of $20 million, it was the most expensive Disney film ever made at the time, and it didn't do that well. They were hoping it was going to be like Star Wars and it was going to be a box office smash, but it didn't do that well. It did 35, well, we'll call it $36 million domestic. I don't know what the worldwide thing was. So I suppose, including world, I bet it made money, but it didn't make a lot of money for Disney. Anywho, yes, Chris Cornell, Soundgarden, that's it, Soundgarden. Black Hole Summer Soundgarden. For some reason I'm thinking Audio Slave, but that's somebody else, isn't it? As I said, I'm not a 90s fan. I was an 80s rocker, me. White Snake and all them, and as you know, Iron Maiden, you've seen my t-shirts and stuff like that. Right, so, what else? I think I've said it all now, haven't I? Right, yes, so off we go. Before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. Right, we're live on YouTube, fingers crossed. Yes, we are. We should be live on Rumble. Oh, for God's sake, here we go. Is it going to come on? Are you going to come on? Yes, we're live on Rumble and we're live on Twitch. Yes, we are. Right. All right. He was Soundgarden, Audio Slave, and Solo. All right. So I'm kind of right. Unknowingly. Unknown. Maybe Maybe I'm psychic. Maybe I've got ESP like Yvette Mimieux in this film. Right. So before we start, the character. Speaking of Yvette Mimieux, her character Kate McRae, who for some reason is psychic. Fair enough. But originally, she was going to be played. They originally wanted. I think it was Gary Nelson who wanted a young actress called Sigourney Weaver. Hang on, I will. There we go. There she is. A young actress called Sigourney Weaver to play Kate McRae. But the bigwigs at Disney decided she didn't have a sexy enough name. Said, how can we market someone with a name like Sigourney Weaver? And so they dropped her in favour of Jennifer O'Neill. There she is, the lovely Jennifer O'Neill. Don't ask me what she's been in. I know she was in, was it Summer of 76? Something like that, I can't remember. Summer of 42. Summer of 42. It's a film I've seen once, and I really liked it. I've never seen it again. But she was a standout in it. And she were all set to play it, but they said, you're going to have to cut your hair. She's famous for her luscious long hair. They said, you're going to have to cut your hair. So what she did, she said, well, my stylist, Vidal Sassoon, is going to have to cut it. So they got him in, and we were taking it down, cutting the hair an inch at a time. And each time he cut an inch of hair off, she had a drink of wine or a glass of wine. And by the time he'd done, they got it quite short, because part of the film is set in zero gravity. Originally, we're all intended to be set in zero gravity, but just the first bit is set in zero gravity. So they didn't want all the hair all floating about. Well, it wouldn't be floating about because they're not really in zero gravity. So they cut her hair. So it wouldn't be floating about. Anyway, they eventually got it short, so she was, quite drunk by this point, and then decided to drive home, crashed the car, ended up in hospital, and they didn't know if she was going to recover in time for shooting, so they just got rid of her, basically. They dumped her after she'd cut her hair and everything. Maybe they paid her off, I don't know. And then they got Yvette Mimieux in. I think her most famous role before this was she was Wiener in The Time Machine, way back in 1960. Winger says she could have worn a hat. Yes, I think Joseph Bottoms said in this, why didn't they just get him to wear a wig? Don't know. But anyway. Josh Temple says, my daughter ordered the books for me for my birthday, so I'll let you know when I get them. Oh, cheers. Thank you. Well, I say, if you've any problems, let me know, and I'll try and sort it out. And happy. I don't know. When is it? Is your birthday coming up or is it gone? I don't know. But anyway, because Wingris says happy belated birthday. So happy belated birthday. Anywho, so I hope you enjoy them if they do arrive. Right. So let's get rid of that. Right. So let's get on with the film, shall we? As usual, we'll not just be watching the film because obviously, I'll be going through it in a series of stills, trying to remember what I've learned from a really good YouTube video. I found a making of with Harris and Ellen Shaw, which were quite good, and then Good Bad Flicks did quite a good review video or making of it, behind the scenes of The Black Hole, and I've linked it in the description, so it's in there. Right. Oh, just tempted. It was last Friday. Right. Did you mention? I don't know if you mentioned. No, I don't think you did you? You're probably busy because you didn't turn up for Friday night appointment with Fear, did you? So you're probably busy having a happy birthday. So happy birthday for that. You did warn me, didn't you? You said you wouldn't be around because it's your birthday. Anyway, right. So let's get on with the film, shall we? So let me get rid of Jennifer O'Neill. There she is. She's gone. Let's get the film queued up and full screened. I'll miss out the overture. This film, along with Star Trek the Motion Picture, which also came out in 1979, some people say they're the last two films that have overtures, which is like a piece of music at the beginning of a film. I think they're supposed to play them in the theatre as people are getting into their seats before the movie comes on, so that everybody's settled and then the film starts. And I think they should bring them back. I think they should bring back overtures and intermissions for long films and everything. I think they should bring all that back because it's ace. If I get a Blu-ray or a DVD that's got a long film on, that's got an overture And if it's a long film, got an intermission, like Ben-Hur or the Ten Commandments or one of these sorts of films. I think it's Ace. Spartacus, that's another one that's got one. Anywho, right, so, what else? Oh, I've also got a Patreon page. We can sign up for, early access stuff and exclusive stuff. I've also got a merch page where you can get t-shirts, with this silly logo on, and other things. And I've also opened up memberships on YouTube, so you can get early access stuff on there, and some exclusive stuff on there as well. Is that it? Yeah, it'll do. Right, so off we go. I'll get rid of all that stuff, and I will pop myself down in the corner. There we go. And we shall begin. By the way, I'm on the new fangled StreamYards. They're updating StreamYard, so this should be going out in 1080p, fingers crossed. Not that I think it'll make much difference. All it makes a difference is from October, I'll be paying £15 a month more for StreamYard. So throw some money my way, super thanks and super chats and stuff. Because it's costing me more bloody money. Wingers says, funny you mention that, I am Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. I'm Spartacus. I think I've got that on my fridge. I think out of a movie magazine that had like a free gift of fridge magnets and with film quotes, and one of them's I am Spartacus. Right, anyway, off we go. Before we get on with it. So as I said, I've skipped the overture, which is cool. But anyway, off we go. Distributed by Buena Vista. Remember them? They should bring back. Disney should go back. They should take a step back and think, let's honour our past. It doesn't say Walt Disney now, does it? On things it just says Disney. I think they're dropping the Walt, aren't they? I think they're trying to distance from themselves from Mr. Disney. Bring back Buena Vista and bring back Touchstone and Hollywood Pictures or whatever the hell it were called. Anyway, Wingris says, hopefully I'll have enough money to afford something that lets me do more than 720 one day. Let's say I think from now on StreamYards, let's say they're changing their system so that the lowest what they call it, lowest tier, will be is what I'll be on. It'll be more expensive. And bring back the Fox. Yes, in 20th century. Yes, bring back the Fox. Anyway, right, off we go. Here we go. We begin with, up to this point, and maybe still, I don't know, the longest CGI sequence in a movie. Here it is. Oh, I forgot to mute it, sorry. Here we go, the black hole. This was done by John Hughes, not the mustachioed film director and producer. I've got it here somewhere. I've got notes. It's just finding them because I've got lots of notes. So it's finding the particular note I want, and I've got it somewhere. There we go. John Hughes of Tau Films, formerly of Rhythm and Hughes, created the green grid sequence that appears in the opening titles. It was the longest computer graphic sequence ever to appear in a film at that time, which is not saying a lot because it's 1979, and there weren't that many, were there, beforehand? But anyway, but it could still be quite a long one, for a single continuous CG sequence. Even now, they don't go on that long usually, do they? They usually cut away to something else. But I don't know. I don't know what the record is now. But anyway, here we go. So we're on. We're seeing a grid, and here it is. Look. I'll be seeing the stars. I think. Where is he? Maximilian Schell. Yes, starring Maximilian Schell is the top billing, followed by Anthony Perkins, we may know as Norman Bates from Psycho. Maximilian Schell, he's been in loads of stuff, but for me is I forgot to put his name now. Tia Leone's dad in Deep Impact, and Hans Reinhardt in this. But he's been in loads of stuff. Robert Forster, he's been in loads of stuff as well. Was he in Jackie Brown? I think he was in Jackie Brown, wasn't he? I don't know. Joseph Bottoms. I always get Joseph Bottoms and Timothy Bottoms mixed up. What is Timothy Bottoms Joseph Bottoms' dad? Hang on, let me check. Let me check. Joseph Bottoms. Let's have a look. Could have picked a different name, couldn't he? Bottoms. Right, let's have a look. Oh no, Timothy Bottoms is his brother. Right, fair enough. And there's also another brother called Sam, which rings a bell. Right, fair enough. Right, don't get your bottoms confused. That doesn't do to get your... No, don't get my bottoms mixed up. Anyway, where were we? Well, there we go. Yvette Mimieux as Dr. Kate McRae. She gets an as. Did the others? No, now I'm thinking now. No, they didn't. But she gets an as Dr. Kate McRae. As though we've got to know who Dr. Kate McRae is. Weird. And Ernest Borgnine. Yay! Everybody likes Ernest Borgnine, don't they? As Harry Booth. There we go. Apparently everybody loved Ernest Borgnine on the set because he was being all funny and joking about, and he was an amazing guy, wasn't he, Ernest Borgnine? Probably most famous now for his little faux pas on daytime TV when one of the presenters asked him, how he kept himself so healthy at his advancing years, and he whispered, but the microphone picked it up, that he masturbates a lot. But anyway, bless him. There we go. Music composed and conducted by John Barry, the great John Barry, the late great John Barry. By the way, I think everybody's died of the stars in this film. I think everybody's died, apart from Joseph Bottoms. I think is still with us, and Tommy McLaughlin, who plays one of the robots. Production design by Peter Ellenshaw. They dragged him out of retirement for this. He'd done stuff, he'd worked on other things. I've forgotten. I have notes and everything. I bloody forget, don't I? Let's have a look. I know his son, Harrison Ellenshaw's worked on Star Wars, and Peter Ellenshaw might have done as well. Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back and stuff like that. Let's have a look. Come on, Peter. Peter, where are you? There we go. Harrison Ellenshaw. Well, I'll have to go to him because it's not telling us about Peter, unbelievably. Bear with me. We're live, yeah. Right, Thief of Baghdad, way back in 1940. Matte artist and all that. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. And there's another one as well. A lot of Disney stuff, basically. He worked for Disney. Treasure Island, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, Old Yeller. Did a lot of matte artists and special effects. Swiss Family Robinson. The Love Bug. That's when he... apparently he retired after The Love Bug. But they must have dragged him out of retirement in 1971 because he got an Academy Award nomination for Bedknobs and Broomsticks. And also in 1974, Island at the Top of the World, which I've mentioned before, which is a surprisingly good film, and I saw it at the cinema in 1974, where it, in the UK at least, it played with The Land That Time Forgot. Anyway, he came back for this, and he did Dick Tracy, with a matte artist on Dick Tracy. But anyway, so there we go. Where were we? Right, so director of photography, Frank Phillips. There we go, there we see the black hole comes in all its green grid glory, screenplays, etc. And then we're going into the black hole now. Oh no, we're going in. And then it begins, and we see space, and they made a deliberate decision. Here we go, directed by Gary Nelson. Not to have space just be black with stars. Peter Ellenshaw wanted space to be, not black, essentially. He wanted it to be, he wanted some colour and light in space. So what they did, they had a huge 50-foot by 30-foot tarpaulin or whatever, or screen, and they painted on, clouds. Supposed to look like the Milky Way, nebula and stuff. Spray painted all that on, and then painstakingly pricked little holes in it of various sizes for the stars and shone a light through it. So that's that. There you go. Right, so anyway, we begin. There you can see it's there, look, in the left of the screen. The USS Palomino. And the first voice we hear is the uncredited. Here we go. Hang on, let's go back again. The uncredited. Let's go and show it. Come on. Oh, for Pete's sake. The uncredited Roddy McDowell as Vincent. Right, there we go. Right, so first off, if you look on Wikipedia and in other places as well, on IMDb in the trivia, they keep saying that this film is set in the year 2130. But it's not. Well, it might be. I don't know. But nowhere in the film does it say what year it is. People maybe are thinking of this, because it says there 2130, day 547. Obviously, there's not 547 days in a year, is there? But no, that's the time, 2130, on day 547 of their mission. So they've been out in space over a year. Because we know it's the time, 2130, not the year, because it says there, unscheduled course correction due at 2200. So that's not the year, is it? That's at 10 o'clock at night. And then goes all that, and then he says something. Where is it? Oh, never mind. Another thing says course correction in 30, so 30 minutes. So that's 2130 to 2200. There we go. I don't know why people think it's 2130. I mean, it could be. It could be 2030 for all we know. I don't know. Or it could be 2530. They never say what year it is. But anyway, so this is the USS Palomino out in space. They've been searching for alien life in outer space. As they put it, habitable life in outer space. And they've not found any. By the way, Alan Dean Foster did a novelisation of this. And it's bloody awful. I hated it. And I'm an Alan Dean Foster fan. Splinter of the Mind's Eye and all that stuff. But I've got it in my notes somewhere. Right, let me find it. Where is it? There we go. Alan Dean Foster, who wrote the novelisation of the film, was so appalled by the bad science in the script that he provided the list of changes to the producers which he felt would improve the story. Upset by this, the Disney brass actually called a meeting to decide what to do. I don't know if they did what he said, I don't know. But the book, if it's anything like the book, it was bloody awful. They don't get to the black hole till halfway through the book. It's boring. It is really boring, is the book. By Alan Dean Foster. This is better. This blooming thing. But this is different to the book. This is different to the film. By the way, I can't really remember the book. I read it once. But in there, at the end, the ending to this is different. None of the characters look like what they're supposed to look, but the ending's different in here. I imagine a lot's different, but never mind. Yes, I was just going to mention that. Neil deGrasse Tyson hates this film. Yes, he said it was the most unrealistic space film ever made. But he says that about every space film, doesn't he? Because he's a knobhead. Bloody hate him. Do you like the comic? You know what? I honestly can't remember. I just dug it out today, actually. It was over there in my shrine. And I haven't read it for a long time. And I haven't had a chance to read it today. But flicking through... see, Reinhardt looks like a bloody pirate in it. Hang on. just bear with me a minute. That's Reinhardt. Looks like a bloody pirate in it. Jim Ladd and all that. So they don't look much like the characters in the film. That's supposed to be Harry Booth. Where is he there? And Dan Holland. But the robots look good. Maybe it was done before. Maybe they just, they didn't know who were going to play him. Anyway, right, where were we? At the stage. Oh, see, I've gone wrong now already. There we go. Maybe Doohan can do his Worf voice. Neil is unrealistic and ruined my childhood. Yes, I remember you're not a fan, are you? I'm not a fan. I think he's a smug twat. I don't like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I didn't like him when he were in Stargate either. Stargate Atlantis, along with the science guy, Bill, whatever the hell he's called. Anyway, right, so we'll either back to the film. They've got to do a course correction. And we hear the voice of Robert Forster, Dan Holland, Captain Dan Holland, saying we shouldn't be needing. I think it's him anyway. Oh no, it might be. No, it's Anthony Perkins as Dr. Durant. He says we shouldn't need a course correction at this time, but then Vincent says, I've found the reason. There he is, there's Vincent. We're here in the, I suppose this is the bridge of the Palomino. It says he's found the largest black hole he's ever encountered. I don't know how many black holes he's encountered. Might have been a few for all we know, because we'll learn later on that black holes are a thing in this universe, and that they've sent several of his robots, not his robots, his type of robots, to go and explore black holes and send ESP messages back. But anyway, right, here we go. We're going to get a look at it on the holograph. Is it going to show us yet? Here we go. There we go. It was cool how they did. I think sometimes they wanted to do these effects, the hologram effects, in camera. I think they did for most of them, but I think some of them are superimposed. But I think most of them, particularly the wide shots, I think were done in camera. What they had were away from the set, between the set and the camera, they had a sheet of glass, and they projected the image onto the glass. So obviously they weren't looking at it because it were like to the side of the set, but it was done in camera, which probably saved money, didn't it? Bill Nye, that's the fella, almost as bad as Neil. Yes, he is. I like that little nugget that Dolph Lundgren is more scientifically qualified than Bill Nye. It is true, isn't it? Another Mandela Effect small one. I thought Neil, Bill and Michio Kaku were in that gay episode, but no Kaku to be seen. No Michio Kaku wasn't in that one. Unless he were a background character, I don't know. I never noticed him. But he didn't have a speaking role, did he? Everybody likes Michio Kaku. He's like him from Skinwalker Ranch. He's got an open mind, hasn't he? Sometimes. Travis Taylor. Travis Taylor's a good scientist. Anyway, right, so there we go. We've seen the black hole. Some of the effects are a bit wonky. Some of the effects in this are amazing. They originally wanted to get John Dykstra's team in to do the effects with his Dystraflex camera system that he designed for Star Wars and all that. But Disney wanted to keep it all in-house. Apparently this is one of the last big studio that did internal studio effects movie. After this they also started going elsewhere for their effects and bringing in effects companies and stuff. But no, Disney did their own effects, and rather than hire John Dykstra, they decided to just design, probably at great cost, their own special effects system, which apparently were really good. They called it ACES, and I forgot what it stands for. But anyway, but it apparently did a really good job, and I don't know if they used it on any other film. But I should look it up, shouldn't I? It'll be here somewhere. Let's have a look. ACES. Let me check. Right. Just bear with me. Disney. ACES system. Here we go. No, that's something else. Animated camera effects system. Right, hang on, I'm looking here. Where is it? Just bear with me. I'm trying to find it. It's here. It's on this Wikipedia page somewhere. Animation building. Is it in here somewhere? Oh, for God's sake. I'm going to have to search for it, aren't I? I'm just curious. I want to know. See, it's not even there. I'm going to have to do a Control F. Camera. I'll type in camera. Right. Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. Test. We'll get there. There we go. Right. Aces. Camera designed by the Disney engineer. It just doesn't say. It doesn't say. All it just says broke new ground in technology. It doesn't say if they used it again. And it doesn't have a link, so I can't look it up. Right, so let's search for that then. See if that helps. I don't care. I'm if it's boring, tough. I want to know. Right. No, it's not. No information about the Acer's animated camera effects system. Unbelievable. Never mind. Maybe they didn't use it again. Somebody let me know in the comments. Right. Anyway, as I said, some of the effects are amazing. Some of the effects are a bit wonky, such as this one. It's not exactly the best, is it? But it'll do. By the way, that's Yvette Mimieux as Kate McRae and Robert Forster as Captain Dan Holland. And we also saw previously, I said, didn't I? Joseph Bottoms as Lieutenant Pfizer. Not Pfizer, that's the pharmaceutical company, isn't it? Anyway, it was lots of wire work in this, by the way. Lots of wire work. There's Anthony Perkins as I think it's Alex Durant, Dr. Durant. And we're going to meet, there we go, there's Harry Booth, Ernest Borgnine as Harry Booth. And there you saw Dan go up to the bridge there in the level below. First of several kind of religious comments that's in this film. It says, right out of Dante's Inferno, which is obviously is a poem, I think, something like that, wasn't it? About hell. When I tried to search, AI told me ACE stands for Alpha Centauri Expeditions. Alpha Centauri is the solar system in which Pandora is in. Oh, so that's an Avatar reference. Oh dear. Yes, it is. Yes. Anyway. Right, so anyway, they're all googly-eyed at the black hole, saying how amazing it is, and how, giant suns can be sucked in and disappear without a trace. By the way, the effect of the black hole, there you can see it turning. We get a better look later when they actually get there. We're done with a huge tank. I think, I can't remember how big. I know it was 6 feet deep. A huge tank of water with a propeller at the bottom, so it got it swirling, and they poured in like coloured paints and lacquers and oils and stuff like that to get all different colours, and then they shone really bright lights into it, and then filmed it over a couple of days. They've been filming for a couple of days, getting lots of different shots with lots of different colours, and then it just got so hot that the tank just shattered and water went everywhere. But luckily they're actually in the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea water tank. They filmed it in there, so everything was fine. Right, where were we? Ernest is fine, but 7 is still my favourite Borgnine. Ernest is the first Borgnine. One of 9. Anyway. Right. So, there you go. He makes it a bit small. There you go. Another reference. Expects to see some guy, red horns and a pitchfork, so like the devil's in there, which kind of allude to at the end of the film. Anyway, so this is where they discover there's a ship. There we go. There's a ship in there, and it's not moving. It's not being pulled into the black hole. They don't understand why. So they decide to scan through. By the way, this bit here, this must be superimposed, maybe. I don't know. Or they've done something here so that Ernest here is supposed to look as though he's in front of the hologram, but they've not quite lined it up right, have they? So they've done something wrong. So either it's still in camera, and they're projecting it onto the glass behind these. It's between the glasses between the camera and the set, and they've just misaligned it, or it's superimposed and they've misaligned it. I don't know, but anyway. Does it matter? Right, so they go through various ships, which are obviously not that. There you go. These are all ships that have disappeared, apparently. So a Russian experimental space station just vanished at some point. But anyway. But then they eventually get to the USS Cygnus. There we go. USS Cygnus. Go back again. There you go. A perfect match. And then we learn the USS Cygnus disappeared 20 years earlier, and Kate McRae's dad was on it. Must be the Event Horizon, yes. Another Event Horizon could kind of be the spiritual successor, couldn't it, to the black hole? Kind of similar story, ish. But anyway. Right, so there we go. So there we learn that the Cygnus was also sent out on a mission to find habitable life in outer space, and it didn't, and they were recalled, but apparently ignored the recall, and they just went missing. And they never knew what happened to it, and now they've found it by this black hole. They were recalled to Earth, and we learned that Dr. Reinhardt, the commander of the mission and designer of the ship and all that stuff, is a bit of a renegade, and just made his own ambition seem like a matter of national pride. And apparently the Cygnus ship and all that were the most costliest mission ever. Anyway, right, so Pizer wants to go aboard with Vincent on tethers and explore the ship, but Captain Holland's been a bit more wary, and because the black hole's there, they could get pulled in at any minute. But Dr. Durant talks him round. He says, it's the chance of a lifetime. So they say, right, we can afford one pass, and then we've got to get out of there. So in they go. There we go. They're heading in. Cool. By the way, lots of nice. I think they're gorgeous. Animated effects. Probably uses the Acer's animated camera effects system. Lots of animated effects. Probably hand painted animations. Superimposed. And I think they look really cool. And I love the laser beams in this. Proper super duper. But we'll get there anyway. So there it goes. In they go. Heading in. More wire work. So there you go. They're heading in still. And then suddenly they start feeling the gravity, and everything starts shaking. And they turn the ship around to get an escape attitude. And as they get close to the ship, suddenly all the turbulence all stops. There we go. Like that. Zero gravity. It's as smooth as glass. I don't understand why. There we go. So they're heading round the ship, round the Cygnus, and we get a good look with some cool music from John Barry. Etc. Great score. Really moody and atmospheric. But anyway, we get his first good look at the Cygnus. It's supposed to be like a mile long or something like that. It's like Battlestar Galactica, isn't it? But it's built kind of inside out. I remember at the time they were saying that all the grid work and all that is on the outside, and all the panelling for the ship is on the inside. So they said make it easier to repair, so they could repair it from within. If they ever got a hull breach or whatever. I think that was the reasoning behind it. Anyway, so they're going by the ship and giving it a good look. They activate micro beam. Whatever. Why they say micro beam? Does it sound cool? Maybe it does, but and it's just a light. Because it appears derelict, by the way. It's all dark and derelict, and they don't know what's going on. But anyway, as they drift past the ship, suddenly the black hole grabs them again. There it goes. I think they did about for the black hole. Like I said, the swirling. They did about 12 layers, 12 composite layers, all different colours and stuff like that to get it, rotating in different speeds and all that stuff. And I think it's still the best representation of a black hole. Never mind bloody. I forgot the name of the film. Interstellar. God, I hate that film. Never mind Interstellar and all that stuff that shows, modern black holes. I think modern Star Trek's shown it as well, hasn't it? That's a black hole. Anyway. The gravity of the black hole grabs them again. It starts pulling them in. There we go. And they're starting to tumble. There we go. Starting to tumble. Apart from Vincent, he doesn't tumble, and neither does the view out the window. I noticed that as I was watching it today. Look, the stars don't change out the window. Never mind. But Vincent's fine. So there we go. Oh, and the ship gets damaged. They have an air brake amidship, and there you go. The ship's tumbling out of control, and the thrusters are firing and everything. It's going to show it. There we go. There's the thrusters firing. Trying drastically to get the ship back under control. There we go. A hatch blows out. The black hole is pulling us in. No shit, Sherlock. But anyway, a hatch blows outside, and Vincent's got to go and fix it. There it goes. Whee! Tumble. There you go. He's got to go out and secure it as Vincent. So there he goes, all cool, all tethered because he's safe. By the way, Vincent stands for Vital Information Necessary Centralised. The Labour Force 396, whatever that means. But here he goes, and he's the most important member of the crew. Another good bit of messing with our noggins. They've obviously shot this upside down, so they've suspended Ernest Borgnine upside down, and you can see that he's walking, so it's upside down. Anthony Perkins is walking. Ooh, a bottom. Right, so he fixes it. Closes the hatch. Does Vincent, but they can't get through to him. They try to get through to him on the radar, but there's too much interference because of the black hole, which is where the ESP comes in. He says, "Can you get through to Vincent with your ESP?" Now, does she just happen to have ESP, or can they give people ESP? Does she have an implant that gives her ESP? I don't know, and I can't remember if it says it in the book, because it was too boring for me to retain any memory of it. I've probably still got it somewhere, but anyway. So I don't know, but we learned that them robots, the Vincent type robots, they are designed, with ESP in mind, because he says later on, as I said earlier, that his fellow robots were sent on Project Black Hole to go in space probes and send ESP messages back, from the event horizon of black holes. So anyway. So I don't know if they just look for people with ESP or if people can be given ESP or what. But anyway, she gets through to him and she says he's fine. He's fine. He's always doing, what they call them, phrases. He's always doing phrases. There are old pilots and bold pilots and very few old bold pilots. So he's always doing stuff like that. And they're all smiling because they know she's got through to Vincent. Anyway, so this is where we learn that... in a minute, that they're going to lose their oxygen supply because of the damage. But anyway, they get the ship under control, they stop the tumbling, and they hit the thrusters. Here we go, they're heading for, they can see it there, look, teeny tiny, all the distance, the Cygnus. They've got to make a run for that zero gravity. Wingate says, wonder if it has an audio book. I have no idea. Maybe it's on Audible. Search for it. I bet it's not. Anyway, because you want to know if it's James Doohan doing the reading, don't you? That's what it is. Because all the robots, Vincent and old Bob, and he'd be doing them, wouldn't he? He'd be saying, there are old pilots and bold pilots. Anyway, whatever. Right, so there he is, mending the hatch. But as you can see, the tether that he's on is wearing against the edge of the ship. And obviously it snaps. But there we go, we're learning that they're going to lose their oxygen supply. There, oh no, his tether's snapped. And he's obviously sent a message to what's her face, Kate. The tether's snapped, Kate, and she says the tether's snapped. And Charlie Pizer, I keep calling him Pfizer. About me. Charlie wants to go out and save him. But Dan tells him, Captain Dan, not Lieutenant Dan, Captain Dan, tells him, stay your post. And he says, what the hell kind of man are you? What if it one of us out there? or whatever. That went all wrong, didn't it? And he says, Vincent is one of us, and now I'm just drawn to this. Why are these here? 1, 2, 3. Couldn't they just have a countdown? Apart from like an advent calendar of numbers. Going from 1 to, I don't know, 36. Anyway, never mind. Just first time I've noticed that, because I don't usually go through this film in a series of stills, so I'm noticing things. Anyway. Right, so, but obviously, because Vincent isn't one of us. No, he is one of us. What are you talking about? The subtitles on this file are not the best. I've got to admit. Anyway, the subtitles on the I watched on Disney Plus were fine, but on this they're not the best. Anyway, so he lets go of the hatch that he's holding on to, but he's lucky because I got to do this sound effect. See if you recognise this sound effect. Let's mute it. You ready? Can you recognise this sound effect? Windgrace recognises that sound effect. He fires his magnetic grappler or whatever and pulls himself back in. Do we see him, by the way? I'm just wondering can we see him? Is that him there? Is he over here? I don't know. I don't know if they're that being that exacting with the detail. But anyway, yes. It's the doors, isn't it, of the Starship Enterprise, the bridge doors. Anywho, right, so they're making a run. There we go. They've made it back to the zero gravity. Yes, Windgrace loves grapplers. But not grapplers. Don't like grapplers on. Anyway. Right, so they're flying over the ship again. And as they fly over, suddenly all the lights come on. Here we go. When the music's ready. Hang on. When the music's ready. Because we've got to have a cool bit of musical sting and a nice view of the ship. In a minute. Wow. Suddenly all the ship lights up. And Charlie says, like a tree on Christmas morning. So they're looking, and then another cool thing, another cool effect. They see somebody walking in a window. There we go. Here we go. We're going to see it. There we go. See, as they're looking through, they see somebody walking past a window. There we go. See him there. Look. Cool. I like stuff like that. Josh Tim says, so he opened the door. He opened the door to save himself by using his magnetic grappling thing. Anyway, but it made the door sound. Right, so there we go. So she's checking out this shadow that they see, and she thinks it's somebody alive. There we go. She feels it with her ESP, no doubt. They're thinking, what's going on with this ship? Anyway, the docking elevator is coming up, we're told. So they've got to go and dock. So here we go. They're coming into dock. There we go. Coming down to land. And then they goes to get up. I don't think this is exactly how gravity works, but is it this bit? Here we go. You ready? Oh, we have gravity. As I didn't realise. You'd realise, wouldn't you? As soon as the gravity turned on or whatever, all your guts would just go inside, wouldn't they? And you'd be like, "Oh, crikey, I feel heavy." But no, just when he went, to get out of the chair, it got gravity. Because as I said, originally, this entire film was supposed to be set in zero G, and they thought we can't have them hanging on wires all through the film. So they thought, right, the Cygnus has got gravity, so that's how they explained it away. Right, anyway, cool model work. Like I said, little elevator taking them down, and here we see Vincent floating up into this docking tunnel that's appearing. By the way, there's a door. I don't know if we saw it. I wasn't paying attention. No, we see it later at the end. One of the doors, or the hatches, or whatever, on the Palomino is a Eagle transporter hatch from Space 1999. But anyway, Windgrace says when they showed how they made the people walking in the TNG opening, it blew my mind. Yeah, it was a really sort of like low quality animation, wasn't it? I thought, because it looks ace, doesn't it? It looks amazing when you see him in the observation, like conference room or whatever it is. At the end of the opening credits on TNG, it looks really good, doesn't it? And then, but it was like a really low res, sort of like animation, wasn't it? Anywho, where were we? Oh my, Vincent's heading into the docking tunnel. So here we go. There we go. We've got the laser guns, but they never fire these. I wanted to know what these laser guns sounded like, but they never get to fire these, unfortunately. But in they go into the airlock. There we go. Vincent's there. Says, "Good work, Vincent." Out and says another phrase. What's the word now? I can't remember the word. Out of the frying pan, hopefully not into the fire. And she says, "Are you sure you're all right, Vincent?" And there's another quip. Nothing that a hammer and a little metal polish can't solve. Anyway, in they go into the waiting room, I think they call it, something like that. The docking area. Customs. So anyway, right, so he tells Charlie to wait at the ship. They're going to go and explore, and he's got to wait at the ship. That's his order. So there he is. Anyway, suddenly it's all spooky, and suddenly a light comes on. There we go, bright light. They can't see what's going on, and then lasers take out their weapons, as we see. There we go, just shot there we go, out of Dan's hand, and then they shoot Vincent's lasers as well. In a minute. Here we go. Oh no, poor Vincent. By the way, sometimes when we see Vincent is on strings, floating about. Sometimes he's on like a dolly. When you can't see the bottom of him, he's on the dolly. Anyway. Right, sorry. But they're all fine. There we go. Just a bit smoky. By the way, this film, as I said, it was Disney's first PG film, and Ron Miller said, "I want to do an adult movie." Not that sort of adult movie, but a movie for adults. And some have said it was this film that led to Disney creating the likes of like Touchstone Pictures and Hollywood Pictures and all that stuff, so they could do more, than family-friendly stuff. But they didn't really work, did it? Although there's some. There's not gruesome stuff in this, but there's some, disturbed stuff that might disturb kids, little kids in this. But it is still kind of goofy in a lot of places, particularly this bit, or that bit. But it says, "Down, but never for the full count, Dr. Kate." So Harry's saying, looking with a cool pause face. So much for the friendship theory. And Alex Durant, Anthony Perkins, says, "Oh, come on, they could have killed us if they wanted to." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." Anyway, so they're being led. The door opens and they're being, led away, so to speak. Here they are in this big area. Lots of matte paintings. There's 150 matte paintings in this film. 550 special effects shots, or optical effects shots. And 150 matte paintings. I don't know if Peter Ellenshaw and Harrison Ellenshaw did all the matte paintings themselves, or if they got others to do them. I don't know. It's probably in the IMDb full cast and crew. Let's have a look. Art department, sound department, visual effects, stunts. I don't know. Just looking for matte paintings. Matte photography. Arthur Miller. Matte photography. Is that the same Arthur Miller that married Marilyn Monroe? That was Arthur Miller, wasn't it? I think it wasn't it. Anyway, never mind. Right, so here they are. Right. While they're going that way, a door opens. We see the door to the airlock opening. And then the door opens. We see the sentry robots of the Cygnus walking all stiffly like that. Essentially goose stepping is what we see them doing when we see them. There we go. Goose stepping. I hated this when I was a kid. I love it now, but I hated the way they walked because I thought, why have they gone walking so stupidly robotically? But it's obviously supposed to show that they're supposed to be like space Nazis, aren't they? Essentially, the goose stepping. But anyway, they're going to collect Charlie. Anyway, they hop on this roller coaster ride thing. There we go, and off they go. Whee! Must be at Disneyland. Must be. Oh dear, is that true? Gee, you've got to make me check now. Oh dear. News. Oh dear, yes he has. James Earl Jones dies at 93. Oh crikey. Oh, that's very sad. We knew it were coming, didn't we? We knew it were coming, but still very sad. Oh dear. Well. I said 93 is a good age. 90. I hope I live to be 90. I hope I live to be 83. Anyway. My no was yes. Actually, it didn't twig when you did no. It didn't twig, but I'm sure he'd have appreciated it. Oh dear, it's very sad. Anyway, so that's yes. It doesn't say, Luke, I am your... Hang on, where are we? It doesn't say, Luke, I am your father. It says, no, I am your father. Stop being a Mandela effect, Laura. By the way, welcome to the show. The world is sadder for it. Yes, it is. Anyway, let's not dwell. Let's carry on. Well, that's one news item for Wednesday, isn't it? Right, so anyway, as I was saying, they're on this roller coaster ride to the, which it is later on, to the bridge section of the control tower, I think they call it, of the Cygnus. Off they go. There's going to be a bit of a dip coming up here for them, isn't there? As they go down. Doesn't show them doing it though, but I wonder if they all do that. Hey dear. I'll never forget his role in Were he in Stargate? See, you got me wondering now. What did he do in Stargate? I have no idea. Anyway, so here we go. They arrive at the base of the control tower. This is an elevator. This is where Vincent tells them about Project Black Hole, where his brother robots were sent. To send DSP messages from black holes and all that. He played the very first Unas in season. Oh right. Oh, did he? Oh right. Did he actually play him, or did he just do the voice? I don't know. But anyway, as I said, I generally skip the Unas episodes. I don't like the Unas. I'm an Unas phobe. But anyway, it's Jeffrey Combs' birthday. Yay! Anyway. Oh, so he did the voice, right? Fair enough. Anyway. Anywho, because wasn't that first one, didn't it have a Goa'uld in it? Is that why it had a proper voice? Anyway, I can't remember. Let's say I skipped the Unas episode. Right, so off they go in the elevator up to the control thingy, and here we go. We get a first look at I suppose you call it the bridge control room. We go of the Cygnus. It looks super cool. Don't know what all this is supposed to be, but it just looks cool. Lots of blinking lights and all that stuff. And I say, it looks amazing. Oh, she's calling out. She's saying, "Hello, is I forgot his bloody name already. Frank. There we go. It's Officer Frank McRae aboard. What Frank McRae? Somebody in Hollywood, like a producer or something like that. I've heard that name before somewhere. Anyway." This is where Vincent says, because we see lots of people at consoles, but he says there appears to be some sort of robot Dr. Kate. What do you think he is? Dr. Kate. What do you think he is? Basil Brush. Anyway. When Teal'c was stuck in Thor's hammer too. Yes, Thor's hammer was great. Because of the Goa'uld, because of Junior, it separated him, didn't it, from the rest of the team. Anyway. Right, so here we go there. Another look at the bridge. Cool thing. You see the black hole swirling in the background. And there was where we're introduced to Maximilian. Somebody says, we're not alone. Obviously, there's all them other people, robots, whatever. But anyway, here's Maximilian. Well, I was found a bit rubbish. But anyway. Apparently a robot we're going to meet later called Star, Special Troops Arms Regiment, was second in command until Reinhardt built Maximilian, who's this one. And I think Maximilian's a bit poo. But anyway, there we go. Ooh! Vincent's impressed. A mystery monster, he says. Says, identify yourself. And obviously Maximilian can't speak. None of Reinhardt's creations can speak. For whatever reason. Maybe he wants to be the only one to speak. Maybe he likes talking to himself. I don't know. Don't catch me talking to myself, do you, Steve? No, you don't. He's trying to get through to Charlie on his collar radio. There you go. Come in, Charlie. Do you come in? Charlie. But anyway, here we go. Maximilian's got his whatever, his claws spinning. So obviously Vincent Super Brave is going to intercept. And it's where we're introduced to Dr. Hans Reinhardt. There he is. And he tells Maximilian to, calm down and all that. They're our guests, so he's being all friendly. There he is. Welcome aboard the Cygnus. By the way, the ship was originally supposed to be called the Centaurus, but they decided to change the name. I don't know why, but I do know why, but I don't know why we're going to be called the Centaurus to start with. But they decided to change it to the Cygnus because Cygnus X1 was the first black hole identified in 1964 or something like that. So they called it the Cygnus instead, which kind of suggests that Reinhardt always intended to go and find a black hole, didn't he? But anyway, never mind. Just Tim says, I never talk to myself. The voices in my head are French, so I'm always yelling at the French. Oh dear. You're a crazy loon. Where were we? Alright, so this is where she learns that her father is dead. So they got a man to be proud of. You were a close friend and all that stuff. And you are his daughter. The same eyes. The same eyes. That's what he says. Anyway, so Harry Booth says, you're supposed to come back. And they say, no, whatever. And so apparently we learned that the Cygnus was hit a meteor shower and was damaged and the communications were down and everything. So that, they couldn't return, and the crew decided. He says the crew abandoned ship. He told the crew to abandon ship, and he and Frank McRae stayed aboard. But all the crew left, and they never got home. He said, pity for such a good crew. But we'll learn that that's not quite true. But anyway, so that's what he's saying. And then they said, you've survived here alone for 20 years. And he goes, 20 Earth years. So there's a suggestion maybe that it's either been longer than 20 years or shorter than 20 years. I don't know which is which, but because of, he's orbiting a black hole and time is affected by gravity. So has he been there, from his point of view, from a point of view on Earth, he's been missing for 20 years. But from his point of view, he's either been missing longer than 20 years or shorter than 20 years. I don't know which is which, but anyway. I love when installments come in Earth versions. Well, they're from Earth, which is fair enough. It's when in films and stuff, aliens start giving information in in Earth units. At least Klingons have Kelly-cams, don't they? But which just happens to be a kilometre. Just happens to be. But anyway, never mind. Right. And he says, but you've been here alone for 20 years, 20 Earth years. But he says, I've not been entirely alone. He says, I built companions for myself. They look a little medieval. he says, but I'm a romantic. So talking about the robots. But also, there's also the Sentry robots and Maximilian. So he's not quite alone. It's great in TNG. You have 10 of your Earth hours, Captain. Yes. Dear. Right, so Charlie arrives. Says, "Have you met the Goon Squad?" Anyway, so still all been all nice and friendly, and then Alex suggests that they can give him a lift back home, but he says, "I'm not going home." But then they said, "The Cygnus is in danger of being destroyed," and he said, "Oh yes, you thought about that too, but we're perfectly safe because we've developed anti-gravity forces." Anyway, pardon me. Right, so anyway, what he's going to do is going to let Maximilian's going to take Charlie and Dan to requisition the parts they need, and then in the meantime, he's going to basically give Alex and Kate and Harry a tour and give them all enough information to make their mission of historical importance. That's what he says. Wingate says, "That's a good idea for the Orville. Someone gives them a time limit in Earth hours, but they do the conversion wrong and screw up." Much like what happened with that probe. Which probe was it? Was it the Beagle probe that went to Mars? Was it that one, or was it another one? A Mars probe. They got the measurements wrong, didn't they? It was supposed to be in metric measurements, but somebody put in imperial numbers instead for the re-entry thing, for the landing burn or whatever, and it burned up in the atmosphere, didn't it? Or smashed into Mars or whatever. So don't get your things mixed up, your measurements. Anyway, so that's what's going to happen. And there's one last standoff between Vincent and Maximilian. Not one last. For this moment, there's one last. His eyes are a bit poo in this. The original plan for his eyes, they were supposed to be animated and show all different things in his eyes. I imagine a bit like the eyes in in Lex, that series Lex. That robot head that had sort of animated eyes, didn't it? I imagine there's supposed to be something like that, or along those lines. But they couldn't get it to work properly, so they didn't. They just ended up just switching out his pupils. So he's got square ones there. Totally got a tickly nose. Gonna have an argument. But he's not backing off. He says, "Back off." Vincent says, "Not until he does." And this will be the first time that we get an argument in the film. Because Reinhardt says, there's another biblical reference. Reinhardt says, "It's just like David and Goliath, but this time David is overmatched." Another biblical reference. But Dan tells him, call him off, Reinhardt." And he goes, "Call him off," shouts at him, and says, "On my ship you ask, Captain." Says, "Oh, please call him off." So he does. There we go. Says, "Remember, these are our guests." Right. So, there we go. Off they go to requisition the parts. And this is where there's another bit of fun. Maximilian spins himself round for some reason. And Vincent shows he can do one better and do a full 360. Here he goes. He did do. Honest. Mars Climate Orbiter was unsuccessful. That one, yes. Mars Climate Orbiter, fair enough. I think India did something like that recently as well. Just buried their lander. To get Elon to do everything to do with space. Speaking of Elon, he's set a timetable, hasn't he? Wants the first starship to Mars in 2 years, doesn't he? The next Earth-Mars, whatever, conjunction or whatever you want to call it, window, the next Earth-Mars windows in 2 years. And he wants that to be the time he sends the first starship to Mars, unmanned. So that'll be cool if they get it to work. Anyway, this is where we learn that the ship's not crippled anymore, after the meteorite storm. It says, no, they fixed it. And if you watch this screen here, we see that it starts showing the animation we saw at the beginning of the film. Start showing that there in a minute. But he says, no, we fixed the damage and became operable again. And he said, but you never came back home. He says, well, if Columbus came back, if they recalled Columbus and they, followed those orders, you would never exist and all that stuff. So there you go. But he's going to prove that the end justifies the means. He says, pointing with two fingers. Don't know why he's pointing with two fingers, but anyway. Right, so they're heading to parts storage where we're going to meet old Bob. See cool interiors of the ship. Here we are in parts storage. By the way, Siskel and Ebert hated this film. Why was Siskel and Ebert so popular? I don't know. Every time I see on like people going on, oh, Siskel and Ebert, or Gene Siskel gave it a crappy score, Roger Ebert gave it a better score, whatever. But they were both idiots. I don't like either of them. Anyway, neither of them were as good as Barry Norman. But that's by. Love me some stained glass tech. It does look, it's supposed to look cathedral-like, innit? I think that's what they're going for. Again, another religious reference. Anyway, he wakes up old Bob by giving him a clonk, knocks him to the floor. And then Dan says, tell you what, you lot, get the parts ready and I'll go back to the ship and start working on that regulator. So off he goes. Maximilian tries to stop him. Hang on, in a minute, there we go. But he just ducks under. And off he goes by himself, and Maximilian's being angry. Look, his eyes are glowing. So they've got to get ready. Right, so Vincent introduces himself to Bob, who doesn't reply yet. Because he's scared of Maximilian. Old Bob will have the voice of Slim Pickens soon. Right, you can't see the strings. Actually, I think they might have been painted out. Looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah. There's some shots where you can still see strings. And I think on my DVD, they're still very visible in this shot. But it looks like in this, must be for the Blu-ray release, it looks like they've painted them out, because I can't see them there. No, can't see them there. They've painted them out, haven't they? Tell you. Just leave them in. Right, so they get the parts. Meanwhile, I think this is supposed to be like the warp core or whatever of the Cygnus. He says there's enough instant energy down there to power all of Earth. And anyway, if you're watching the background, Harry ducks down a little corridor here. Here he goes. Here he's going to go in a minute. Any minute now. There he goes. Way. So he's off exploring by himself as well. And then Alex is saying, Harry? Oh, sod him. Who cares? Anyway. Dan's having fun on one of the, whatchamacallits? I don't know what they call them. Roller coaster carts. Should have got those things like them in silent running, shouldn't they? Like them beach buggy things, or them, not beach buggies, what they call them. Like the banana splits had. Should have had some of them, shouldn't they? But anyway, he sees this going on. He sees some of these robots with some sort of, a sarcophagus of some sort. So he goes following them, see what they're up to. He sees they're heading into that area there, so he's going to check it out. In he goes. But before that, he finds the one of the dormitories, I suppose you could say. So he has a look in here. Some cool artwork, sci-fi artwork, probably. But I like the uniforms he sees in there. Cool uniforms. I'd like to do a cosplay. I wonder if somebody must have done a Black Hole USS Cygnus cosplay at some point. They must have done. But anyway, so there he goes. He catches up with them, and we see that they're firing something out into space in some reverential manner, much like a space funeral or whatever. But there we go. We see it. Off it goes. Firing it into the black hole. But then Maximilian interrupts him. He says, "Oh, I must have taken a wrong turn, Max." So off he goes, and we see them robots filing away. Spoilers: we learn that that essentially one of their kind has died. And so why would robots be, having a funeral? All will be revealed. Anyway, meanwhile, Harry finds the garden. Don't know why I said it like that. Garden. Finds the garden with the gardener there, operating some controls. But he can't speak. He says, "Are you programmed to speak?" And is that the camera there? That must be the camera there, mustn't it? I've paused this loads of times when I've been watching this film. That must be the camera there. Obviously, the camera's behind his shoulder here, isn't it? So that must be. Is that somebody there in the background? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. He's having a good look. He says, "Are you programmed to speak?" And he says, "No, that'd just make you a bit too real, wouldn't it? That Reinhardt sure loves to play God." Anyway, so he goes and has a look at the garden. There we go. Lots of plants and stuff, and must like pineapples, maybe. I don't know, or the date palms. I don't know what they are, but whatever. Some cabbages. I don't know, but he must be a vegetarian because I don't see any pigs and chickens that are knocking about. But anyway, then we sees the gardener heading out, but we see he's got a limp. Look, he's got a limp. So he goes running out after him. But he's disappeared. He's not there anymore. He must have ducked into another doorway. Right, meanwhile, back on the Palomino, repairs are underway. There we go. Basically, looks like Vincent's doing most of the heavy lifting. Dan's told him about the funeral he saw. We're done with all the honour and reverence of a human funeral, and then Charlie says, "Well, maybe he lied. Maybe there are some survivors still alive." And I thought, well, there won't be survivors if they weren't still alive, would there? But anyway, never mind. Right, so I'm going to get ready to, they want to get out of there, basically, because this place gives them the creeps. Anyway, they're still ogling at the black hole, which I would be. It's obviously a blue screen, isn't it? But it's still kind of cool. It'd be nice if they'd had like a rear projection or something like that, wouldn't it? Done all the effects beforehand and just had the rear projection. That'd look better, wouldn't it? But it's obviously a blue screen or green screen, which you can see the line. It's probably blue. Oops. Excuse me. Are you interested in black holes? Asks Maximilian Schell. Is he related to Catherine Schell? I don't think he is he? Of Space 1999 Season 2 fame and Pink Panther. And she's also in the George Lazenby James Bond. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, you're also in that one. Anyway, whatever. I don't think so. Anyway, Alex suggests that he might want to stay there. He's buttering up Reinhardt and saying, we don't have to rush away. We can stay longer. And she's obviously not convinced. She feels awkward. There's something up. Psychic, she must know. Well, that. Well, hang on. Let's check that again. Let me go back. Frame at a time. I've gone too far. Yeah, I think that it must be a matte painting. This must be a matte painting around there because he's cut off there. Looking, yeah. Why didn't that corridor go a little bit further? All it had to go was another couple of feet. Never mind. Anyway, so they're going to dinner with Reinhardt, but they can't take Vincent with them, so they're going to leave him at the robots. Don't call them droids in this, because that was a George Lucas thing. Going to leave him at the robots' recreational room, rec room. So there we go. It doesn't more of his sayings. He says you're going to have lots of fun, and he says all sunshine makes a desert, as the Arabs say. Blah blah blah. But we see lots of sentry droids in there having fun on a shooting range. There we go. I love the lasers in this film. I do. I begin love them. There you go. All work and no play. All sunshine makes a desert, so the Arabs say. There we go. That's another one of his sayings. So anyway, off he goes, and they're going to dinner. Right, so this is where we hear old Bob now. We still don't know what he's called, but we hear him. There we see him doing shooting. It's Star. There he is in the black. That's Tommy McLaughlin, or Tom McLaughlin, as Star. It must have been like a mime or something like that. I don't know, because he coached all the robots. And his wife, Nancy McLaughlin, was Yvette Mimieux's stunt double. Anyway. Right, so there we go. They see him doing cool. By the way, I love the sound of the lasers in this. I just love that sound. I think it's amazing. Proper. Oh, great stuff. But the internet just went off. Took my background with it. Right, bear with me. Just bear with me. Is it going to come back on? I know. I've gone off camera so you can't see what I'm doing. Oh, hang on. Is it going to come back on? What's happened there now? It's gone on to the news on my telly, and it's just said James Earl Jones has died. Yes, I know. Laura told me. Got to get my background back on. Better won't be a minute. Because I'm streaming this. It's on my telly. It's streaming the image from. I don't know. Look into the camera file. I'm not even on it, but streaming the image from. I've done the wrong thing here. Hang on. Go back again. Photos. There we go. Photos. Recently added. I think. What am I looking for? What am I looking for? One of them, right. There we go, the black hole. You're gonna come on. There we go, we're back on. Right, put the camera back on. Production, we're back again. I forgot what I was saying now. What was I saying? Oh, I love the sound of the lasers. Cool sound. But anyway, we hear Slim Pickens, and he says, "Who's the flashy black hat?" Because as you can see, Star, Special Troops Armed Regiment. Lots of acronyms that are a real struggle in this film, aren't they? Like Vincent, vital information necessary centralised, and we learn that old Bob stands for Biosanitation Battalion. They had to get the O from the middle of the word. Anyway, couldn't think of anything better. Obviously not. So, do all the other robots have names as well? I don't think so. But we learn that Star was second in command before Reinhardt built Maximilian, and he's the best shot. Oh, my prototype for the Sentry robots. There we go. So anyway, so did they have the Sentry robots before? The crew left, or did Reinhardt make them afterwards? It's not clear. It's not clear. Anywho. So, Vincent asked, did you ever go up against him? He says, yes, once, and I beat him, because, them robots, what they are, I don't know if they've got a name, that type, I don't know, but they're the best, and they're always the best at everything. They'll never be obsolete and all that stuff. And he beat him, and it nearly blew a fuse. But anyway, meanwhile they're having dinner. It's got a nice Peter Ellenshaw painting of the Cygnus in the background. I think Peter Ellenshaw also did the production designer on Battlestar Galactica, I think, or was that Harry? I can't remember. One of them did the concept art and stuff for Battlestar Galactica. I can't remember if it was Peter or Harry Ellenshaw, but anyway. It's where he says there's going to be no more unescorted excursions because he's got dangerous experiments going on in the Cygnus. So, cause he's learned that they've been wandering about by themselves. So they say, fair enough. He's asking about, has her Earth changed in 20 years? He says, no, not really. Nothing much stays there. Nothing much changes. Anyway, they're having, I think, is it mushroom soup, I think he says, prepared from his own garden. And Harry says, yes, I remember reading about the extensive horticultural station, or whatever he calls it. And he says, it's tiny now, just enough for one. There we go. Agricultural stage, not horticultural. Anyway, so they're having a nice old dinner. He's doing a toast, etc. So there we go. It's very, Captain Nemo. He's like Captain Nemo, isn't he? Is Reinhardt. It's very 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, even down to the slightly Victorian, production design and all that stuff. Some of it's a bit steampunky, isn't it? But anyway, it's where he's telling them his plan. He's going to go through the black hole, in, through, and beyond. He says that's what he's saying there. And Harry says that's impossible. And impossible only exists in a dictionary of fools, or a general dictionary, Anyway, so Star's going to challenge Bob again. There we go. So they're doing their shooting, and he bumps Bob. So Bob's doing well, but as we see, he gives Bob a bump, so he misses because he cheats, because he's a baddie, because he cheats to Star. I'm going to show it in a minute. But he says, no, they missed on purpose. There we go. So he won, did Star, because he cheated. But Bob said they missed on purpose. So it's up to Vincent to save the honour of the old outfit. So he challenges Star. Vincent's my name, sharpshooting's my game, try me, he says. It's goofy. It's for adults. It's got to Ron Miller. Anyway, all the robots are like looking at one another. Apparently they couldn't see bugger all. They had to look, but I think they had eye slits and stuff in where their eyes are, but they could hardly see through them, and they had to look down through this where I presume they breathe through that area, and they had to look down through that to see the feet or whatever of either the thing they're in, the suit they're in, or the ones in front of them to see where they were going. Anyway, so he's going to challenge. He challenges Star. Meanwhile, a probe ship's coming back from the black hole that kind of looks like a spark plug when we see it. But anyway, here we see it's on its way back. So they're saying, how are you going to avoid being crushed by the forces inside the black hole, spaghettified even. But obviously, he's got his anti-gravity forces and stuff like that. And they're going to go through an optimum angle of rotation, and that'll slingshot them through, etc. Meanwhile, Vincent's going up against Star. Here we go. So, by the way, I like the sound of the two barreled laser guns. I also like the sound of Vincent's lasers, because the two barrel ones are kind of chunky sound, sort of laser gun sound. But Vincent's are kind of pew pew lasers. Are you ready? Like that. Cool sounds. I love the sounds of this film. Anyway, he wins. Does there we go. There we go. He wins, and he shoots off the medal on Star's chest, and Star blows a fuse, and there we go. Blows a fuse. Because Vincent's won, he says, if you must dance, if you will dance, you must pay the piper. And then you go, if anything I can't stand, it's a sore loser. Meanwhile, the probe ship / spark plug's on its way back. There it is, looks just like a spark plug. So anyway, it's where we learn that Reinhardt's mental, because he's going to go through the black hole and find the ultimate knowledge, life eternal and all that stuff, into the eye of God, etc. Which is kind of what happens, I suppose, when we get there. But anyway, Maximilian arrives and tells him, maybe he's got a psychic link, an ESP link with Maximilian. I don't know, because Maximilian just comes in and goes, bzzz, makes a noise, and Reinhardt says, my probe ship's come back, I must go. So there we go. And when he's gone, Charlie says it's cuckoo as a Swiss clock. Right, so back at Part Storage, this is where old Bob, there you go, introduces himself, Biosanitation Battalion. Had to struggle to get that one, didn't they? Why is he not? My name's Bzb, Biosanit Bzb. Could they think of something else? So this is where he tells him all about what's really going on the ship. He says this is a death ship. Usually they have all the lights off. But they just turn the lights on to prevent damage to the Cygnus. And, said, this is a death ship. And Vincent, can you permanently rearm my lasers? Yes, I can. There you go. Back in the dinner place, Kate's saying, Reinhardt's mental, essentially. But Durant's sticking up for him. And... talking about the funeral he saw, that Dan saw, and the limping robot that Harry saw, and Durant's thinking, well, you're not telling me he's programmed his robots to feel emotion, but anyway, Dan says, well, we're not staying anywhere, we're going to just repair the ship and off we go. But Harry says we can take the ship and take them all home and be heroes. But Dan says we could also be dead. But anyway, there you go. We could also be We could all be heroes. We could also be dead. There you go. I forgot to check. On something. No, he hasn't got it, has he? Sorry. At the end of the film, Dan has got like a scar on his eye. Not that eye. His right eye. You see it at the end of the film. I don't think he's got it now. I think I know when he gets it. Anyway, here comes the spark plug probe. There it is. I'm trying to remember that brand of spark plug. I can't really remember that. Anyway, never mind. Here we see something going on. Bob is showing Vincent what's going on, showing how the robots are programmed, and you're actually getting a clue here as to what's going on with the robots. Never noticed this before. I saw it mentioned in my notes. See if I missed anything in my notes, by the way. It does say it somewhere in my notes that this is the first time you get a glimpse of what's under the face plate. You can actually see it there. There's actually a person under there. Look, so I'd never noticed it before. So, spoilers, the people under there. Anyway. Sorry, I'm just looking to see if there's anything I've missed. By the way, also considered for the role of Reinhardt were Harry Andrews, Peter Cushing. They'd have been cool, wouldn't he? Off his Grand Moff Tarkin. Wonder if he'd wore slippers for this as well. Peter Cushing, Herbert Lom, Kurt Jurgens, he'd have been good. Patrick Troughton, I can't see Patrick Troughton as Reinhardt. Christopher Lee, he'd have been good. Donald Pleasance, Anton Differing, Hardy Kruger. I can't see Hardy Kruger as Reinhardt either. No. Max von Sydow would have been amazing because he's amazing in everything. And Jeremy Kemp, there we go. 26 weeks, by the way, with the filming. Principal photography. They actually got... they filmed it in order as well, so that when the people... Spoilers, when people die, they could go home. But they'd actually just a little bit of reshoots at the end. They called the actors back in at the end for a reshoot. The model of the Cygnus is 12 foot long. There you go. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else that I've known that's relevant. Right. The score, John Barry's score, the world's first digitally recorded soundtrack. So there you go. Anywho, are we still going, by the way? Let me just double check. Yeah, we seem to be. Right, where were we? Yes, you can see there's a person in there. So there you go. Was that deliberate? A deliberate reveal? I don't know. I don't know. Because obviously it's some sort of, it's like sunglasses. It must be made like that sunglasses material, that's reflective sunglasses, the thing, so they can see through, see where they're going. Obviously, if there's a light shining on it, it's showing through, isn't it? So there's a person under there. Anyway, so Vincent's showing him what's going on. And it's the original crew. They didn't leave. Reinhardt's reprogrammed, turned them into zombies, essentially, or humanoid robots. They go more robot than human, more machine now. Speaking of Darth Vader and James Earl Jones, he's more machine now than man, twisted and evil. But anyway, they get interrupted by a couple of laser beams. Pew, there we go. And they take these. They go take them out. Toot sweet. There we go. Down they go. So they've got to get out of there now. So off they go. The probe ship's landed. By the way, there must be like a force field or something around this that's keeping atmosphere in, or something. We'll get there. As I said, it's unscientific, according to what's his face, Neil. Right, they're hiding the evidence of the robots that they've destroyed. They're hiding the evidence and getting out of there. But Alex is still sticking up for Reinhardt, saying he's eager and willing to share his knowledge. But, we're not staying aboard. We're getting out of there. And then Vincent sends Kate a psychic message and says, Vincent says we've got to get back to the ship. I think the three of them go. Dan and Charlie and Harry, they head back and they leave Alex and Kate there. Meanwhile, Maximilian's bringing bringing Gort from Day the Earth Stood Still from the probe ship. And he goes, "This isn't our party. Let's sneak out another way," because he obviously hasn't seen them. Anyway, so they sneak off, and this is where we learn that Alex wants to go with Reinhardt, because he's obviously in awe of the man, kind of in love with him, I suppose, but not in that sort of way, in a scientific way. But here comes Reinhardt, all backlit and looking crazy, and quoting the Bible, Genesis, I think. And anyway, right. So, see where he learns of the ESP she shares with the robot, but doesn't he share it with Maximilian? I don't know, but anyway, maybe he just can understand Maximilian. Right. So, what he wants the Palomino to do, he says, is he wants the Palomino to monitor his journey into the black hole for as long as they can. And he's giving Alex all of his scientific formula in the form of a big book, because obviously no electronic stuff in whatever year this is in. It's in a big book. So he's giving them that. There you go. I want to monitor my flight. But Alex wants to go with him. But he doesn't say that yet. He does it a bit, though. Anyway, so see where they're spilling the beans now about what's really going on. That the humanoid robots are what's left of the crew, and that Reinhardt murdered Frank McRae, Kate's dad, because they got the order to return home. The ship, I don't think the ship were ever damaged in a meteor shower. Just ignored the order to return home. The crew mutinied, said, we want to go home. And Reinhardt killed Frank McRae and used, his sentry droids, captured the crew, and I don't know, they somehow forced them to become humanoid robots. Whatever. So there we go. So that's what's going on. So now Harry changes his tune. Now Dan's now saying, well, we can't, leave all these poor souls behind. We've got to find some way to save them and take the ship. But Harry's changed his mind now. He's saying, no, we can't go up against that, that army. But anyway, Bob tells us that death is the the procedure is irreversible and death is their only release. Anyway, Vincent says, I was forced to destroy 2 sentry robots. Well, I distinctly remember seeing Bob firing at them as well. But anyway, but Vincent takes all the credit. Anyway, back on the bridge. I've headed back to the bridge, should I say, to get ready to go. And there we go. We learn that they're being called back to the ship, but Alex doesn't want to go. Here he is, and he's saying, "I'm going with him. I am." But Kate, ESP's back to Vincent that they're not coming back, because Alex wants to stay. There you go. And so Dan says, tell Kate to come back now, with or without Alex. Tell her why, because obviously that Reinhardt murdered Kate's dad, so that's what he's doing here, telling her now. So she's all upset and looking round and telling him, he's told her that these are the crew. So she's all shocked and scared now. And she goes, Alex, can you come over here for a minute? Yes. Harry's kind of done a heel turn now. He wants to go and save his own skin and all that stuff. So he's arguing with Dan. Dan tells him to shut up. Because he must be having his nose must be itching as well, because he's having an argument. So she calls him over and she tells him what's going on. These are the crew, because Reinhardt's crazy. And Reinhardt comes over and he's talking. As he's talking to Kate, here we go. Alex goes over to one of the robots and he takes off his face mask thing, turns him around, takes off the face mask. There we go. And this is Gary Nelson, the director of the film. Doesn't look well, does he? But I used to think they had like a swirly thing. I think I was getting mixed up with Life Force. I think they had the swirly things in their eyes. But they've just got like big brown eyes with huge pupils. Look a bit weird, don't they? Kind of like, supposed to look a bit like zombies, I suppose, aren't they? But anyway, that's Gary Nelson. So anyway, Reinhardt's saying they would have died, all of them. I saved their lives. And Alex says, "Come on, Kate, we're getting out of here." Maximilian, meanwhile, is looking on. Anyway, they try and get out. Look, the elevator door closes. Did Maximilian close that? I'm guessing so. Maximilian comes down with his gets his big thing spinning, if you know what I mean. We see his big thing later. And then the notes, Reinhardt's notes, all get shredded, and then they could have made this, if not had an adult film, they could have made this a bit more gory, couldn't they? But anyway, there you go. He kills Alex to death. There we go. Oh, he does that, and then he goes falling into into there. He did, honestly, were there. Look, here we go. Apparently, when he fell, originally it just had the sparks going off. Like squibs in here, little sparks going off. But the sparks going off showed that he didn't have a big hole in his chest or his gut or whatever it was supposed to be. So the animators, the effects animators, had to put in all these bright points to cover that up. Why could they just put in, some sort of dark area to show that he'd been hurt? I don't know, but anyway, whatever. Anyway, he berates Maximilian. He says, "You shouldn't have done that. He was a good man." And then he goes over to Kate and says, "Look, protect me from Maximilian." And then she says that. If there's any justice at all, the black hole will be your grave. Spoilers, it will be. Anyway, so take the young woman. She's about 38, I think, when she made this. Whatever. Young for me. Take the young woman to the hospital. That's what he says. And they're waiting for him to come back. And then they say, "Look, Reinhardt's he's obsessed with the man." And then Vincent comes through, because obviously Kate's ESP'd him again. Says, "Alex is dead. Dr. Durant's dead. Maximilian killed him. They're taking Kate to to the hospital. There we go. So now Dan and Vincent and Bob have got to go and rescue Kate. But Reinhardt's getting ready to head into the black hole. Look, it says, bring her about, and the ship orients to point at the black hole. And the engines fire up. I love this bit, showing the engines firing up. Is it this bit? Is it? Are we coming up to it? No, it must be in a minute. So they're heading for the hospital. Obviously, leave Charlie in charge at the ship. He says, don't let them get aboard. Right, so there you go. They're taking her to the hospital. The destroyed robots have been found. Right, so they're sneaking, look, doing all the sneaking and stuff. There we go. They're firing the engines up. It says, activate the thrusters over there. Fire the thrusters. And I love this bit. Cool. I used to do that with the... I might do it again today now I'm thinking about it. When I was a kid, I used to do... the grill. We used to have a gas... Well, we still have a gas grill on the cooker. And I used to do that. I used to light it up with that. Pretend I was doing the Cygnus firing up. I might do it tonight. Anyway, so there we go. So all the engines are firing up. Cool effects animation. There we go. Another one up. So they're heading into the black hole. There we go. Oh, look, he's heading straight for the black hole. Meanwhile, Kate's in the hospital. And they're going to start zapping her brain. Like so. There we go. But luckily it doesn't get very far. Because in comes Dan. Boom, shoots it. And hopefully it doesn't have all hot gobbets of metal raining down on Kate's head. So they start shooting there we go, they're all shooting the robots and stuff. Well, I'm pressing the wrong button. There we go, lots of shooting going on. And they save Kate, but trying to save Kate, another robot grabs him. Vincent does a bit of comedy fighting. Boink. But they save Kate, she's fine. She was kind of natty in quasi-futuristic clothes, wasn't she? Anyway. Charlie's waiting, tapping his finger, and then comes through. We're on his way back. Get the ship ready. And that's when Harry says, "About time." Anyway, they're disguised as humanoid robots, as we see. There we go. Pew 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 pew. Cool stuff. But unluckily for them, Reinhardt happened to have a feed from the Disney camera crew. There we go. So he just happened to see exactly what we saw. Bloody Disney traitor cameraman on the baddie side. Anywho. So he says, order the sentries to fire any humanoids between Medical and Palomino. There you go. So another cool scene coming up here. I don't know what you call it. The catwalk battle. It's just really cool and atmospheric. I don't think there's any music here. Let's have a listen. It's just I don't know why. I think it's really cool. Oh, there's a bit of music in the background. It's cool. Piggin love this film. I do. I piggin love this film. So they head down. There we go. They're getting surrounded now by laser beams. So they head down into the other area where there's all the barrels or whatever the hell they are. There we go. They're headed down, and so they're fighting and shooting and all that stuff. By the way, the guns. Originally, when they had these laser guns, they had little lights at the end. So when they squeezed the trigger, the lights had come on, so that the animators knew when they were firing a gun. But I think after maybe a day or something like that, not long, of shooting with these weapons, they kept seeing that the actors kept accidentally squeezing the trigger and making the lights come on. So they're like shooting the floor and shooting other cast members and shooting the ceiling and all that. So they took the lights off. So now they've just got a red end. We'll call it a focusing crystal. Yes, we will. Oh wow, that's cool, isn't it? No, noticed that before. This one falls off there, hits that, and makes some animated. I think it's animated. Green smoke come out. You know. Yeah, cool. Anyway, all right. So, shooting away. There we go. Oh, as I said, sometimes the effects are not the best because it's for adults. But it's still fun. It's fun, which is the point, and they're all shooting. They said the sentry robots have been to the stormtrooper school of shooting. They can't aim for toffee unless they have to, unless the plot calls them to. Anyway, so they dealing with them easily. Anyway, they get past, and this bit always makes me laugh. I laugh. This is probably the only part of the film that makes me laugh out loud. Here we go. I'm just going to play it because it just makes me laugh out loud.
Unit outwitted and outfought by some Earth robot and that antique from storage.
Antique from storage. I don't know why it just cracks me up. Does that bit? Anyway, anywho. So there we go. Now he's telling these that it says give them distance and blow them out of the sky. I missed a line earlier on, by the way. It became full James Bond baddie earlier on because he said to Maximilian, I think now is the time we must execute our guests or eliminate our guests, something like that. But that was earlier. Anyway, they're heading into the black hole. And you notice from the angle now that the ship's going in, we can actually see inside the black hole. We're not seeing it at an angle. We're seeing it as though it's heading in. So we're seeing the full interior, the redness of the inside of the black hole, which we'll see later. Right, so they've arrived at there we go, corridor near reception. Reception is that area that they were in originally. And they get trapped in there. It says, we'll be there in a minute, but we're going to raise hell. But then they see that there's just loads of loads of sentry robots there. So they says, look, reversing last order, take her up now. And obviously Charlie's not going to do that. He's going to go down and save them. So they go running out, and they fall over because there's some sentry robots waiting for them. And Harry feigns a broken leg, and Charlie says, "Well, I've got to go save them. You stay here and don't let them get aboard the ship." There you go. But he's kidding on because he's not a good guy anymore, and he's running into the ship himself. Anyway, Charlie comes to save the day. Hang on, here it is. Charlie comes to save the day. So they head for the ship. They've got to take care of the rest of the robots. And Charlie comes to save them as the Cygnus heads in. Daft Punk's taking copious notes. The sentry droids. Hey. I've only seen Daft Punk in Tron Legacy. That's the only thing I know them from. I know they're super famous, but that's the only thing I've seen them in. Anyway, Harry's decided he's going to fly the ship himself, all by himself, save his own skin, because, as I said, he's turned into a baddie for some reason. So that's what he's going to do. But I think he starts having a heart attack. He clutches his chest. There we go. Fires up the engines. Off they go. There you go. What's that idiot trying to do? And he takes off. As soon as he takes off, essentially the gravity goes as well. So he starts floating about. But there we go. Look, like he's having a heart attack or something. Is it supposed to be, I don't know, the G-forces of him taking off? Or is he just having a heart attack of the stress of the situation? Because he's not a young fella, is he? It could be my age, I don't know. I don't know how old were Ernest Borgnine when they made this. I want to know now. Let's have a look. When were Ernest Borgnine born? Let's have a look. 1917 he was born, so he was 62 when this came out, wasn't he? So not much older than me, only 5 years older than me. Anyway. So there we go. Just in terms of Daft Punk is one of my top 5 favourite music groups of all time. Cool. As I said, I only know them from Tron Legacy. I'm sure they're amazing. Bit too poppy for me, I think. But anyway. So anyway, off he goes. But he can't control the ship, look. It's out of control, look. And there we go. Reinhardt tells them to shoot it before it hits us, but it still hits them. So here we go. Hang on, missed it. Cool laser beam shot, by the way. Kind of reminds me of Flash Gordon, that for some reason. Them laser guns, like something from Mingo City or something, on War Rocket Ajax. Anyway, there we go. Blow the engine apart, and it goes crashing into this part. I think these areas here, I think these are something to do with the power unit or the power core or something. Because it hits that and it blows up in spectacular fashion. Then later on, the other side blows up. So I think they're connected to the warp core, we'll call it. Anyway, in it goes. Look, it's crashing. Ah, no, it's blown up. Cool miniature effects. Worthy of Derek Meddings, but I don't think Derek Meddings worked on this. But there we go. Cool explosion. Get an even better one later on. Anyway, Maximilian's like, oh, crikey. I wasn't expecting that, boss. But obviously Charlie's cross now. Now what the hell are we going to do? He's kind of nearly been Hudson. It's game over, man. But Vincent consoles him and says, you can't unscramble eggs. He says, penny's worth of philosophy is not what we need right now. And then he says, a good offence is the best defence. He says, what are you talking about? And he says, there is an alternative. And they decide, we'll go on the probe ship. So they head for the probe ship. And then I was thinking, but that only goes into the black hole. It's a probe ship. It's a huge, they've got the Cygnus is a huge ship which was supposedly going to go out and look for habitable life in outer space, i.e. explore planets. So it shouldn't have like a shuttle bay with lots of shuttles for exploring other planets. Obviously not. Anyway, so meanwhile, they're going to get hit by lots of Klondike Pete golden nuggets. Remember them? I used to love them when I was a kid. It's supposed to be it's a meteorite shower. They call it a meteorite shower, even though in space they're just meteors. Well, they're not actually. They're just asteroids, aren't they? Stuff in space. They become meteors when they hit the atmosphere. If they hit the ground, they become meteorites. But anyway, whatever. There we go. The Cygnus is getting pummeled by them. So there we go. They actually filmed this. They used lots of coloured bits of whatever, and actually pointed the camera up in wherever they filmed. At Burbank, it was filmed at Disney Studios in Burbank. No location footage. It wasn't filmed in space. They pointed the camera up at the ceiling and just dropped them all down, and shot it at high speed and dropped them all down onto the camera several times. And in different angles and stuff like that. Anyway, so there we go. All right, here we go. They're doing their roller coaster ride now. There we go. That gets broken. Look. Oh no. Oh look, they're going round. Bit stupid that, isn't it? Really, to be completely honest. But never mind. Don't worry about it. But they get to the end of the road. They can't carry on. So they've got to go another way. The main corridor. Unfortunately, a big bugger hits the main corridor. Here we go. This is a big. This was 4 feet wide. This thing and lit from within. This is a cool scene. We see this kind of scene in lots of different films. It's kind of reminiscent. I suppose King Kong did it first. The log scene, because they come running out. Look, here they go. Come running out and fall over. And get back up and carry on running. They kind of did it in the log scene in King Kong. I think we saw it in the Battlestar Galactica movie, and I've seen it in other things as well, but I can't think of off the top of my head. But it's it's a popular motif. But anyway, they carry on running. Look, and it comes down and smashes the walkway. Anyway, they get away by the skin of the teeth, and they end up in the there we go. They end up in the garden area. So heading through there, but there we go. Sentry droids are coming after them and shooting. Got to listen to them lasers again. I begin love the sound of them lasers. I do love it. Anyway, so I'm getting all excited. So they're having a bit of a battle. Oh, aye, old Bob does a cool thing with his laser gun. There we go, he does that and makes that tree fall on them too. Of course, he's cool, and he's a wizened old robot, is old Bob. But hang on, let's go back again. One of the it's going to show it here. Here we go. One of the meteors hits the roof, grazes the roof, and causes everything to go being blown out into space. So they've got to, everything gets cold, and obviously they didn't freeze everything. They just painted everything white for this scene, but that's fine. Bob nearly floats away, nearly gets blown out into space. Don't get sucked out; they get blown out into space. But Dan grabs hold of him, and Charlie grabs hold of Dan, and they manage to get him down. Vincent's flying along with Kate. Now he's saving Kate. Is Vincent? They save Bob. He says, save yourself, Captain. He's willing to sacrifice himself for them. And anyway, they get out just in time. Meanwhile, everything's starting to blow up now because the Cygnus is starting to break apart. I think what it is, I don't know if this is right, but the meteor shower hasn't helped. But I think the Palomino crashing into the Cygnus has essentially buggered up Reinhardt's plans. I think they'd have been fine if that hadn't have happened. And anyway, now the other power core, we'll call it, is going to explode. Here it goes. And then we see it explode in a minute. Hang on. We see it explode in a minute. Right. We're being told that there's a structural overload. He looks at this sign. Look, everything's bending. There we go. Everything's blowing up, and then we see that other thing. There you go. That's exploding. Some sort of power thing. And it shows it from the outside. It's the opposite side, isn't it? I'm sure it is, to where the Palomino crashed into. So anyway, a cool explosion. Looks really good, does that? I think that looks amazing. But anyway. I love it when a plan gets buggered, chomps cigar. Can't imagine George Peppard saying that. I love it when a plan gets buggered. Not that sort of buggered if you've got a dirty mind. I mean, the Yorkshire buggered, as in made a mess of. Right, so it's all breaking up and it's all going wrong. So there we go. The Cygnus is just adrift now, just slowly heading into the black hole. In the comic, it shows it breaking up. It's in here. Where are we? There's a shot of it. Just there we go. Just wreckage. The wreckage of the. Can you see? There it is. There's the wreckage of the Cygnus heading into the black hole. Anyway. Right. So Reinhardt commands Maximilian to prepare the probe ship. He's gonna escape on the probe ship. So Maximilian heads off. Remember, our heroes are heading for the probe ship as well. But anyway, as Maximilian heads into the elevator, lift, whatever you want to call it, that big telly falls down and traps Reinhardt underneath. There he is, and it calls out to Maximilian. And Maximilian looks round. He must see him, but he doesn't do anything. He's saying, "Help me." And Maximilian's thinking, "Bugger you! I'm going to go and do my own thing now." So he's trapped under there. And in the comic, that's the last time we see. Reinhardt. He dies there, but that's not the last time we see him in this film. Although it might be the last time we see Maximilian Schell, because I'm sure the version of Reinhardt we see soon, I don't think that's Maximilian Schell, but I could be wrong. Anyway, it's calling out to It's calling out to the humanoid robots, they're saying, "Listen to me, help me," but obviously they're ignoring him, because that's not what they're programmed to do. Right. Anyway, meanwhile, our heroes are heading to the spark plug probe ship. As I said, there must be an atmosphere, must be a force field or something that's keeping an atmosphere in, because they don't have pressure suits or anything on. So I think Neil deGrasse Tyson might have been onto something. He wasn't. Don't believe it. Anyway, so they're falling about. The ship's all buckling and breaking, and here we see Maximilian's got there before them somehow. He must know a shortcut. Anyway, we see that he's got lasers as well. First time we've seen him, and he shoots old Bob. There we go. Oh no, shot old Bob. So Vincent shoots back. In a minute. No, it don't yet. First, Dan shoots at him. There we go. But gets his gun. Oh no, it's Charlie, isn't it? Charlie gets his gun shot out of his hand. But Vincent has a go with his cool lasers. Love the sound effects. I piggin' love the sound effects of this film. I know I keep saying it every time. But then Vincent does an amazing thing, and I get all excited at this bit of the film. I do. Because Maximilian sort of like heads forward. There we go. He gets his spinning blades going. But then Vincent, got to save the humans. He just basically rams. There we go. He just rams into Maximilian. Boing. There we go. And just pins him against the wall, so the others can get by. And I'm thinking, yeah, go on, Vincent. So the others run by. And then Vincent gets his knob out. You ready? You ready for this? I'm sure it is. They're climbing through all this wreckage to get to the probe ship. There we go. There's Vincent there, still doing that. Maximilian stops his. Here we go. Are you ready for this? I'm sure this is supposed to be Maximilian's Jimmy Riddler. Are you ready? Puts that down. Boink. What's that supposed to be? Is that his Jimmy? It kind of looked like it, didn't it? I don't think it was part of his arm, because his arms were at the side, weren't they? They couldn't get to Vincent, so it had to be in the middle. So what it is, Willie? What it Maximilian's Willie? His robot thing. Anyway, knocks him away. Then he starts shooting again. Pew pew pew. But obviously just bouncing off him because he's made of sterner stuff. Anyway, so they have a little chase. Yes, Max Triple X a million. Yes, that's why it's an adult film. Anyway, so they have a little chase, and there we go. And Maximilian grabs hold of Vincent. There we go. Starts electrocuting him. So again, another goofy bit where we see his head come up. There we go. He's got cross eyes now, and his head spins round. But anyway, never mind. It goes back down, and he thinks, right, Vincent thinks, oh, sod this, I'm just going to drill it. His lasers won't go into him, but his drill will. So he just drills into Maximilian and kills Maximilian, and Maximilian floats away into the black hole. There he goes, off he goes into the black hole. Anyway, they've got to climb up the outside of the probe ship to get in. Hopefully they've got a key for it. Let's make sure we're still going. Haven't got a copyright strike. No, we're fine. That'll come later, probably. Anyway, so off they go. As I said, they're breathing quite well. So obviously an atmosphere there. Maybe there's an atmosphere inside the accretion disk of a black hole. There must be a breathable atmosphere. Don't worry about it. Everything's blowing up, look, on the Cygnus. I think there we go. One last view of Reinhardt, and he says all light, which is supposed to be the last words, and I've forgotten, I've got it in my notes, of Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. He was the philosopher or something, wasn't he? Something like that. It's supposed to be his last words, all light. Don't know if that's true or not, but that's what it says. Here we go. Right, so it's all blowing up. Old Bob dies. Oh no, he can't make it. All his systems are failing. So everybody cries at this bit. I don't, but everybody else does. He says, go on. We'll never be obsolete. We're the best. Got to remember, we're the best. So Vincent gets all sad. Bob dies. Vincent gets all sad. Look, he's all sad. And then he goes away and he's watching him all the time as he goes into the mist. And then he heads up towards the probe ship, but Charlie gets caught on some wires and starts spinning, on a wire rig. I bloody hate them things. I hate it on Star Trek First Contact when, they were doing the deflector dish scene. And they were obviously on wires then, and they're terrible, aren't they? But, what else can you do? I don't know. But anyway, you can just tell they're on wires. Anyway, off he goes. He's spinning away, is Charlie, into the black hole. There he goes. But Vincent saves him. Here he goes. Look, Vincent saves the day again. Saves Charlie. They get into the probe ship. As I said, they must have the keys. They must have hoisted the keys off something. Maybe they're behind the visor, sun visor. But anyway, off they go. It takes off. There you go. The Cygnus is breaking apart now. There you go. The probe ship lifts off. I don't know where they're expected to go, but anyway, we learn that it's programmed. The controls are not working, so it's programmed to go into the black hole. Wingray says they filmed First Contact in space. Oh, well, whatever. But they still had wires in space. Anyway, do you think Tom Cruise will be the first actor to film in space? Do you reckon? Do you think he will? A mainstream movie in space. That's what everybody keeps saying, don't they? Anyway. Right, so off they go. There's the Cygnus heading into the black hole, and they're heading in as well. There we go. It's been programmed. They're going into the black hole. It says, well, let's hope Reinhardt was a genius. And it shows, I forgot to point this out. Is it this bit? Yes, as you can see, I forgot to look. He's got a scar. Is there a shot where we can see a close-up of him? There bloody isn't, is there? There is, but it's not showing it yet. We see it later, anyway. He's got a scar on his which eye? That eye, right eye. And I think that happened in the garden scene. Apparently, he did get hurt in the garden scene. I think something landed on him or whatever and cut him. So that's what we're seeing there. I think. Anyway. Right, so off they go. Into the black hole. There they go. In through, and then we start hearing all these stuff. In, through, and beyond, and we're hearing, words we've heard elsewhere in the film, like a tree on Christmas morning, and we're the best, and stuff like that. I think this is the what they call it, extra filming they did. They called them back in, these three. They called them back in to film this. The original ending was supposedly they went into the black hole, but didn't do this. They went to the black hole, and I think they went in. It showed showed the ship going in, or maybe maybe they just didn't. I don't know, but it was supposed to end where the camera pulls out. They go into the black hole, the camera pulls out, and it's the Sistine Chapel, the creation of Adam, and it pulls out, and Kate is one of the angels behind God or something like that. And they were saying, that's a crap ending. Nobody will get it. So they decided to do another ending, which is what we're going to see, but nobody gets that either. So it's open to interpretation, isn't it? But I think what we've got is pretty good. Anyway, in the go. Right, so anyway. So this goes on a bit too long. There we go. Tree on Christmas morning, blah, blah, blah. And then we see, I think this is supposed to be Anthony Perkins. Anthony Perkins. No. There we see, that's going in, look, into the black hole. There we go. I think, is it? Or is it Kate? I can't tell because it's kind of stretched and stuff and I can't make out who it's supposed to be. Or is it just somebody else? I've no idea. But anyway, we're going to the Rye. And then we're going to see what's happened to Reinhardt. Here he is, floating in the Mutara Nebula. And as I said, is this Maximilian Schell or is this somebody else? I don't know. Does that look like Maximilian Schell? I don't know. I don't think it is him, but I could be wrong. Because I think this is one of the reshoots at the end. Because as I said, didn't originally end showing us what happened to him, but they wanted to show what happened to Reinhardt. But anyway, so I don't think that's Maximilian Schell, but I could be wrong. It looks totally different, doesn't it, to me, Anyway, so he's there floating in the black hole now, presumably, and he comes across Maximilian, and they embrace like so. And then they move out of shot, and then we see Maximilian's trapped inside of his own creation. And then the camera pulls back. And some have said he's now going to be the king of hell, but I don't think that's true. My interpretation is that he is now in, he's in his own grave. Just like Kate said earlier on in the film, that if there's any justice, the black hole will be your grave, and that's what it is. But he's got what he wanted. He's got eternal life, but he's just stuck inside Maximilian. So he's in his own purgatory now. He's in his own hell. Has my camera gone off? Oh, no. It just had camera off on the screen then. But it's still there, I can see it. Never mind. And then we pull back, and we're in some sort of fiery, devil landscape with figures. This is supposed to be the crew of the Cygnus. I don't know what they've done wrong to go to hell. But again, my interpretation is they're not going to hell. He's trapped up there on top of that mountain. By the way, that was supposed to be similar to the devil that we see in Fantasia, apparently. So, because it was designed by the same chap. This scene was designed by the same chap that did Fantasia. That particular scene in Fantasia. Anyway, the camera moves down, and then we see here that this is supposed to be the crew of the Cygnus without their shiny faceplates on. You can see they've got the hollow eyes, skull-like faces. But like I say, I think it's supposed to be the crew. But I don't think they're going to stay there, because they all seem to be walking away from Reinhardt. So I think they'll be headed somewhere else. They've gone into the black hole with Reinhardt, into hell, but they're not going to stay there. They are mutineers. They're not. They're good guys. Anyway, so I think they're headed, in my opinion, they're going to go, onto. They're going to get their justice. They're going to go to heaven or whatever. That's what I think. Anyway, so we go through all this fire. When they filmed this, by the way, there was that much fire, because it was filmed in a studio. There was that much fire. They had to turn the sprinklers off, and they had to get the Burbank or whatever fire department on standby. Said you've got to be here just in case, because we've had to turn the sprinklers off to film this bit. But everything were all right. So anyway, and then we get another religious thing. I say hell's religious and all that, but then we get to the good side. Like I say, Windgrace likes his stained glass stuff. Anyway, so here we go in this through a glass-like cathedral corridor. And then we see some sort of, angelic figure. Some have suggested this might be Kate McRae's, psychic form, guiding them to safety. I don't know, but it's just supposed to show these are what's happening to the good guys. So here we go. And then we see they come out of a white hole, maybe a safer galaxy or whatever, but they come out of a white hole. Look at the other side, and. But where have they arrived? There we go. We just see them at the other side. They've survived. There we go. You can see a cut on his head. I think that happened in the garden. He actually did hurt himself. There you go. So they've arrived, and then they've shows where they've arrived at. Now, where have they arrived at? Some have said they're in another galaxy. That might have been in the original script. I can't remember. But there's an eclipse going on wherever they are. In this, it says they're in another universe. In this comic version, let's have a look. What does it say? What does it say? If I can bloody read it, tell you my eyes. What did Reinhardt call it? A place suspended in time where the laws of nature no longer apply and there is no death. Oh, Dan, says Kate. Could that be true? It's terrible, dreadful. I can't bloody read it. Isn't there? Oh, I can't believe it. But where are we? Here we are. If we are in a new universe, we want to explore it. We have to, don't we? After all, we are the first ones in big capital letters. And then it says the end. So they're the first ones. So have they gone back in time? Are they Adam and Eve? Bet they are. Bet they are. I used to think that they've arrived at home. They've gone back home, and that's Earth. But it's left ambiguous. It's left open to interpretation. So they could be in another universe. They could be back at home. They could just be somewhere else in the galaxy or in another galaxy. Don't know. But the film ends. Get a really poor. They're going to show it here. There we go. A really poor, jerky animation of the probe ship flying towards the planet. Yes, they are, because they just left the garden. Yes, the Garden of Eden. Yes, that never occurred to me. The Garden of Eden. They were driven out of the Garden of Eden by the sentries. Because the Garden of Eden had sentries, didn't it? After they were left, after they left, there were angels with flaming swords. They wouldn't let them back in. But anyway. So that's the end of the film. There we go. The credits come on. And does it say show the cast list? And I just want to make sure that is it going to show it? There we go. No, just want to make sure that I forgot to put his name now. Roddy McDowell and Slim Pickens didn't get a mention. No, they haven't got a mention, have they? Is there going to be any more? No. Tommy McLaughlin as Captain Star, and then the various stunts. Anyway, so there you go. I wonder why they didn't get a credit. They thought their agents had kicked off, wouldn't you? And said, give them a credit. Or maybe Disney said, we want people to think that they're actual robots. I bet they did. I bet that's what they said. Anywho, that's the end of the film. Is that it? Oh no, we're at the end. We're at the end. So there we go. An amazing flick. One of my favourites. It's one of my, oh, there we go, my favourite bit. Makes me laugh every time. Apparently this is something to do with Canada, this medal. It's some Canadian medal, apparently. Let's check my notes. Have I got it written down? Oh my. Another bit of info before we go. Harlan Ellison was briefly brought on as a scientific consultant on the film. He was fired on his first day, before lunch was over, because he pitched an animated porno movie starring Disney characters. Roy Disney was sitting at the next table, heard everything, and had Ellison fired on the spot. What a knob. Ellison insisted he was simply joking, but others who were there say he was talking about it sincerely. Well, Harlan Ellison's a bit of a knob anyway, isn't he? Then the robot should have said, they should have said Vincent and old Bob as themselves. Shouldn't it? Should have said that. That'd have been good. Anyway, what else? I've read that. Yvette Mimieux was given a short and curly hairstyle to make the scenes where she appeared weightless. Yes, we know that, because why didn't they just put a wig on her? I don't know, but anyway. Almost all of the dialogue in the film was re-recorded by the cast during post-production looping ADR, with the exception of only a couple of lines. You can actually tell, can't you? It sounds ADR'd. This is about as the crew of the Palomino ask how Dr. Reinhardt lived alone for 20 years, Dr. Reinhardt repeats 20 years, as if taken aback. He then says 20 Earth years, perhaps. This leads to a scientific theory that gravity affects time, which it does. According to the theory, an object or person at the event horizon of a black hole would experience a time dilation or slowing of the passage of time. This would mean that while 20 years have passed on Earth, less time would have passed for Reinhardt and the Cygnus. How much less is not clear. So it might have only been 5 years for him or something like that. Who knows? Oh my! When Reinhardt said, "Protect me from Maximilian," after the Maximilian killed Alex, Dr. Durant. When Reinhardt says, "Protect me from Maximilian," that was ad-libbed by Maximilian Schell. No, that's all my notes. I can't remember what I'm going to look up. Never mind. Never mind. Anyway, right. So there we go. So that's the end of the Black Hole. I said, one of my favourite films. You can tell my favourite films because I go on, don't I? 2.5 hours for an hour and a half film. I love this film. It's great. One of my all-time favourites of all time. Let me find a good pause. Oh, there we go. That'll do. Hang on. There we go. Cool. Right. So we'll leave it there. Let's say, if you haven't seen The Black Hole, why not? It's on Disney Plus. You can probably get a DVD cheap. I think the Blu-rays are quite expensive. I've looked before. It used to be only available as that, that Disney Club thing, where you could only buy it from like the Disney store or whatever. But I think you can just get it now from anywhere. But it's quite expensive. It isn't the UK anyway. I think you can get a Region 1 Blu-ray that's not too bad, but I haven't got a Region 1 player. I'm going to have to get a blooming DVD player, a Blu-ray player that's region free. Hey, anyway, so right. Anyway, we'll leave it there. So it is one of my favourite films of all time. Right, what's coming up next? I'll just move my magazine and my my DVD. I can't even remember if this has got any special features on. I don't think it has. This was probably one of the first DVDs I ever bought, probably. I know. The first DVD I ever got came with my first DVD player, which was The Perfect Storm. But then I think the next one I got was Sleepy Hollow and a James Bond film. It might have been The Spy Who Loved Me, I can't remember. Anyway, that's by the by. Wingate says, I remember renting it on VHS. Cool. I remember recording it off the telly at Christmas. I think it was on Christmas Day, actually. Yeah. Run on Christmas Day. So I always think of it as a Christmas film because Christmas is mentioned in it, innit? Like a tree on Christmas morning. So in my mind, The Black Hole is a Christmas film. This and a horror movie in the woods. Can't recall what that was. Don't know. Watcher in the Woods was it? It was Disney, that Disney one, which is not on Disney Plus in the UK for some reason. Anyway, Evil Dead, that were in the woods. There's lots of horror films in the woods, isn't there? In fact, most horror films are in the woods at some point. Anywho, right, we'll leave it there. What's coming up next? I said Wednesday's my news, which is probably going to be dominated by the death of James Earl Jones, which is very sad. But on Friday, oh yes, that was it. He says, "Well, Watching in the Woods." Or Evil Dead. Well, I can't remember what I said. Anyway. What were we going to say? Exorcist, because we're on Friday Night Appointment with Fear is episode 100, so been kind of a special number. We're doing The Exorcist, but it's on Friday the 13th, so for the general public, a special extra episode is going to drop on Friday the 13th, where I've watched Friday the 13th. So that's. But if you remember, like Windgrace, you could watch it now because it's available now on the YouTube channel. If you remember, right? That's it. We're done. Right, we'll leave it there. We will leave it there. So thanks, Windgrace and Josh Temple, and that's just somebody on Twitch. There we go. Best views on that. That's not Twitch. Yes, Twitch. A Twitch thing, isn't it? And Laura for telling us all about James Earl Jones. A bearer of bad tidings. Anyway. So thanks for keeping me company while I was not Evil Dead. I didn't see that until DVD. Oh, right then. So I might have been Watching in the Woods with Bette Davis. I've only seen it once. But I remember it being it's a Disney thing. It's like a kids' horror film, but it's kind of spooky and I think it's quite good. Anyway, as I said, I haven't seen it for a while. Right, so we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other, and until next time, I'll say the... By the way, I've got to get back to doing some gaming things, haven't I? I haven't played Far Cry 4 for a few days. It's been a bit hectic the last few days. So, but anyway, I'll get round to it eventually. So, but I'm going to go now. So, live long and prosper, etc.